So my name's Christina. I'm one of the designers here at Hendrixson. So the first step in any good design is the floor plan, and I always start there because you need to know what the scale of the pieces that you're purchasing will be. You need to know if there's enough walkway around the furniture so it's not too cramped, not too big, not too small. The ceiling height comes into play, the lighting comes into play, window treatments for light control come into play. All kinds of elements that need to be taken into account need to be decided at the floor plan level. So typically when I'm doing window treatments for a client, obviously I need to know what the windows look like and the measurements. And then what I'll do is pick a fabric so that the client can see the fabric. And then I'll try to do some pictures that I'll find of the style itself. For example, for this client, she has a lot of crystal chandeliers. So I want to incorporate some acrylic crystal into the rods and the finials, and also some metal. And then do some shears because she needs some light control. They would be shears that go up and down. When the client has looked at this and say they like this idea, they want to move forward, I'll have my workroom do some renderings that will be on top of a picture of her actual windows. So she can see the scale, see the proportions, see the fabric on the window treatments. It's a great tool for trying to imagine what the window treatments will look like in the end, because every window is different and every window treatment will be different. So it's very hard for clients to visualize those. I can take a client to a sofa and they can see a sofa, but I can't necessarily take them to the window treatment that will land on their windows. The renderings on their actual windows are a great tool to help clients understand what the windows will look like. From the floor plan, you move into what frames we'll select. So I've usually had a conversation with the client about if they like smushy mushy sofas, if they like more firm sofas, if they're wanting anything reclining, those sort of things I've asked them a lot of questions about. So I have a good idea of what to select. So I'll make some selections of sofas, chairs, if it's a dining room, if it's a bedroom, the appropriate things that fit in the room. And then I'll do some floor plans. I'll do it in 2D and 3D so they can get a sense of the visual height of the spaces as well. And then from there, I move on to textiles, meaning rugs, fabrics, leathers, window treatments. Sometimes I'm bringing in wallpaper. Sometimes I'm choosing paint, pillows, all of those sorts of elements. And then I will also do a mood board for the client where I'm showing them the pieces that are involved in the design, along with accessories, lamps, artwork, rugs, mirrors, those sorts of things. So they can see it in one shot. So they're looking at the textiles on the table and they're looking at the room on the screen. And I'll do each room individually. So this was the living room, and then I'll do a floor plan for the dining room and a mood board for the dining room and so on. So typically the way that I display this is I'll have the client come in to see the presentation. I am a designer who does not necessarily impose my aesthetic on the client. I like to get a lot of information from the client to know, to plug into what their tastes are, what their likes are, what their dislikes are. So I'll ask lots of questions about what kind of patterns they like, what kind of colors they like, what kind of colors they don't like. I try not to do a presentation where they're going to dislike things. But that being said, when the client comes in, I do the presentation. If there's things that they don't like, I'll try to have some backups at the ready to switch in and out. Some clients will come in and I've maybe picked a fabric that has birds on it and they don't like birds. But it's their home, it's not my home. I like to be able to tap into, as I said, their aesthetic, not my aesthetic. Every client's different, and that's part of the fun of this job, is that I get to do lots of different aesthetics. I'm not repeating the same thing over and over again to what I like. And then the client will see all of this, will tell me what they like, what they don't like. Sometimes it's a couple, so I have two individuals interacting, giving me feedback. Depending upon how much they like the presentation, there might be some edits for me to do where I come back and change some things out. Sometimes it's like everything, we like everything. I'll have pricing ready to go so that they can see what things cost, and if it's a budget concern to switch some things out, we can do that on the spot as well. That's the other thing that I try to ask when the clients are in the showroom, if they have a budget that they'd like me to respect, so that I don't, because here at Hendrixson's we can pick from more moderately priced vendors and also more expensive priced vendors, and I don't want to go down the wrong avenue. I want to be respectful to the client's budget. So that's also a conversation we'll have at the earlier stages of the project.